What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the best route running from the NFL Divisional round of the playoffs, okay? So we're going to be taking a look at some of Scotty Miller's routes, Davante Adams, and we're going to be taking a look at Travis Kelce. So this video will give you guys a lot of value, and I hope it does. I hope it gives you some insight on why some of these routes work from some of the best in the game, right? And also, guys, if you want to gain weight for next season, right, it's all about consuming protein. We just came out with a new whey protein isolate on A&G Labs, right? ANGLabs.com. Check out the very first link in the description to get access to our new whey isolate protein. Whey isolate is a little bit different than the basic, whey concentrate protein because also you take a look at the nutrition facts here. It's got 29 grams of protein per serving, right? So the main thing about that is that your body absorbs more protein when it's a whey isolate rather than a whey concentrate because you got some things like lactose taken out, more fats taken out. So I hope to get you guys on that soon. Again, if you want to gain weight for next season, that's one of the best things that you can do. Consume more protein for your diet. Very first link in the description. Let's get started with this breakdown, okay? So now we're going to be looking at this kind of like a little stutter, almost like out and up route here from Scotty Miller. This route was one of the ones that sealed the deal for the Bucs last night in this game. So we're going to be talking about why this thing worked, how he was able to get some separation. Great ball by Brady, obviously. But when we come out here, you see how Miller, when he decides to make this kind of like 1-2 to this out, right? It's all about selling with his upper half because where's this DB going to be looking? He's going to be looking at my hips. That's what we got to understand as a receiver, that I got to be able to sell with my upper half and be able to get explosion with my lower half, right? So we see when he's here, throws his upper half to the outside, 1-2, right? And he catches himself on this leg, right? Now, you see how much his upper body's turning. That's what I'm talking about right there, right? Because you want to be able to keep your toes forward, weight on the inside arch of your foot when you're deciding to make a cut so you could explode out and get some burst. But what's going to get Jenkins to bite on this thing, what's going to get him to overcommit and maybe look back for this backfield and expect this ball to be coming so he could try to jump it and undercut it and pick it off, is by selling with my upper half, right? So he's watching those hips. He sees me go to the outside. He tries to jump this thing. I put the brakes on, and then I'm shooting back up vertical. That's a great job by Miller giving that 1-2, right? So that 1-2 is a great way to sell this out route, but it's all about selling with your upper half. You guys can sell with your upper half. That's just going to get you some separation. That's going to get this DB to jump on this kind of thing, right? And then obviously great concentration, being able to make this catch. Let's watch it again. 1-2. Get this guy to jump to the inside. Because I sell with my body, make sure your feet are sudden, your toes stay forward so you can push side to side on this thing, okay? Now we're going to be looking at this route here from Kelce. So we're going to be talking about mainly just how he's able to change direction on this type of route, right? Kind of like almost like a whip route, but you see when he's breaking this out and then shoots it back inside. Biggest thing, especially for you bigger receivers, right? Or you tight ends, right? The biggest thing that I think you guys need to work on, and this is something that a lot of big guys struggle with, is because you're already a mismatch off the line. You're already a vertical threat downfield. You're already a jump ball threat just because of your size, right? But you being able to run effective routes and be able to get in and out of breaks cleanly and effectively and be able to create explosion, that's going to get you a lot of separation. So you see when Kelce goes into this route here, to be able to change direction, you see how much he drops his hips, right? He gets in this low explosive position. That's why it's so important for receivers to be loose. So it's so important for them to be flexible with their hips and be able to be explosive with their hips because that's what can drive them out. So you see how he goes here, shoots to the outside, drops this thing off, and he's violent with his hips. Now the goal of this, right, when you guys drop down, the most important thing is when you drop your hips into this break is to decelerate, but it's not about slowing down. So many people think when it comes to a break, it's about slowing down. I'm going to slow myself down, and then I'm going to get out of this thing. It's about creating energy at this break. It's about creating energy with your hips. And when you create energy with your hips right here, that can shoot you back out, right? That can shoot you out of this break wherever it is. Same idea as if you're running like a comeback or you're running a curl and you're 12, 15 yards downfield. You got to create energy and use that energy to get you out of this thing. That's the entire goal, right? So you see how he drops violently here, gets in this low explosive position, is able to decelerate. Low man's going to win, and you see how he's able to burst out of there, right? He's able to like almost push off of this leg because he's in that explosive position, and then he can pump those arms and go. It's a great job by Kelce being able to get some separation here. Again, it's about how low can we, not necessarily how low we can drop. I don't say drop too low. Like, you don't want to be too low to where you can't move. Like, that's something that a lot of my guys struggle with at times, is that we'll be going into breaks and they'll take it too literal and they'll go too low to where they can't pick their feet up. You want to be about parallel, just below parallel, right? Because that's that explosive position, but it's also about getting your chest forward, chin to your knee. That's that position that's going to shoot me back out, and that's what Kelce gets to right here. So this is a great job. Here, break to the out, snap this thing off, especially for a big guy. Your hips are so important to be able to get you in and out of breaks. Okay, so now we're going to be looking at this route here from Davante Adams right here. So the big thing that everybody, I'm sure a lot of you saw this route where he gives a little hesitation, 1-2. Ramsey jumps to the outside, and we're able to get some separation. Now, I'm sure a lot of people were saying that, oh, this is zone coverage, right? Okay, and it's not necessarily, it's it's incorrect because it is man. He's not going to be playing zone like this. And it doesn't really necessarily look like a cover 2 situation here because he's not really trying to force him to the inside. You see how he's kind of trying to play him to the outside and shuffle with him. So I wouldn't have 2-man look, right? So 2-man is necessarily where maybe it's like man across the board underneath and then a 2-high safety. So it's not necessarily like a straight cover 2 where he's outside shade trying to jam him to the inside and getting his eyes to the number 2, because if it was cover 2, right, and I'll give you a little insight on this, if it was cover 2, he'd be getting hands on Adams, trying to wall him to the inside, then he'd be getting his eyes to see if there's a threat coming back from the backfield or from the number 2 receiver. But all the people who are all zone coverage, it's like, it's not. It's you got to understand the kind of what the coverage is supposed to be trying to accomplish when it's that. So this is more like a 2-man situation. Now, nonetheless, he does have help to the inside because as you can see as this play goes off here, what does he got? He's got a safety, he's got a linebacker right here. So it is kind of like a 2-high safety scenario, right? But it's a 2-man, like something you see a lot in like 7-on-7, right? In 7-on-7, when you see this 2-man, they run it in 7-on-7 because it's very tough to guard against in terms of passing game, right? It's very tough to get the passing game going when you run this kind of coverage, right? So it's all about just being able to understand that when it looks almost like, oh, he got beat so bad, oh, it looks like zone coverage, right? It's important to understand what actual coverage they are in, and this is more like a 2-man situation. Now, with that being said, if I got safety help to the inside and I'm a DB, right, why wouldn't I play outside shade? Let's try to force him to the inside. I don't mind chasing him across the field in this situation because I got help over here. So if he wants to try to beat me on a deep post, he wants to try to beat me on a drag, I got help over here to the inside, so I'll be okay. So let's try to take away the outside. Let's try to take away the fade, right? So now when he gives him this little hesitation move, you see how he attacks him to the outside. Because what's happening is Ramsey's taking away the outside, so let's not force anything. If I got to run a slant, let's work him to the outside. Let's try to close that distance with him. Let's try to get him to backpedal so I can hit him with that 1-2. And you see how when we have safety help to the inside, this DB's over anxious, right? He's over anxious. He doesn't want to get beat to the outside because that's not where his safety help is. So if I can throw with my upper half, I can hesitate here and give him a 1-2. And you see how much Adams, he's throwing his hip out, almost like a crossover in basketball. He hesitates, works this crossover like he's throwing outside this DB's frame. And you see where he's stepping, right? He's stepping outside Ramsey's frame. And when you could sell with your upper half and you could step outside the frame of a DB, that's what's going to get him to move off this platform, right? Because there comes a point where he has to move. He can't just sit there and shuffle with you and guess right every single time. If you guys threaten him to the outside, you guys threaten him outside of his frame, your upper half is working, and you're able to stay in an explosive position. You see how he doesn't open up his toes? Mistake a lot of guys will make on this is they open up their toes and their hip opens up and they got no explosion. It's a violent 1-2. It's a quick 1-2. He throws his head and shoulders to the outside, gets him to jump, and then I can burst off of that leg, and now we're here, and my goal is to widen the gap. Let's widen the gap with Ramsey. Let's make sure I accelerate. Let's make sure I pump my arms, and he doesn't have time to react, right? So it's more like in this situation, right? 2-high safety look, yeah, absolutely. He's got help to the inside. Why wouldn't you play the fade? Why wouldn't you try to take away the outside? Because you got safety help, right? But we can use that to our advantage as a receiver, thinking like, okay, I can't just run this thing right over the middle because he's going to be able to get hands, he's going to be able to reroute and be able to screw up timing. So I'm going to attack him to the outside. I'm going to give him this little hesitation, throw this 1-2, and then break back on the slant. So I hope that clears it up for anybody who thought maybe this was like just straight zone, maybe straight cover 2. But again, little hesitation, throw that 1-2. Let's make sure I accelerate over that middle. Great job by Adams working this thing right here. So now we're going to be looking at this like out and up right here from Davante Adams. So biggest key on this out and up is that he sells this thing completely with his shoulders and his hips, right? So now let's watch this thing full speed. So he's coming off here, out, break to the out 3 steps, snaps those eyes, gets that DB to jump, and then he's able to make this play right here with this kind of almost back shoulder throw. So now when I'm trying to get this DB, you see how off the line he kind of takes this like wider stem to really sell this out route, right? Really close the distance with this DB. So we take this stem right here, he's running, breaks this thing off, and you see how when he breaks this thing off to the out, everything about this looks like an out route. He's not rounding into it. He's not slow and choppy into this break. He's very sudden. He's making it look like he's just running a straight out route, right? That's why it's so important. And yes, I know it's easy to say, and it's probably could some people think, oh, you're overcomplicating it. Like obviously it's an out route, but like you want to make your routes look the exact same. There are key little indicators that people do when they're running just the first part of a double move, like a post, corner, whatever, that give away, like that make you slow, that give away the actual route. We want to make it look, we want to try to get this dude to overcommit. So if I can make it everything look the same, from the break point to the way I snap my eyes to the way I accelerate out, that's what's going to draw him down. We got to make everything look the same, right? So when he breaks off of this, you see how he's one, he snaps those eyes, 2, 3, and he breaks this thing off right here, right? Get that DB to jump, get his eyes in that backfield. He's trying to overcommit to this thing and try to make a play and blow this route up. So I got to make sure that quick little glance here. You see 1, 2, 3, and we're sudden with this cut, right? He's not reaching out. He's not soft with this cut. It's a sudden stick. Then I'm able to accelerate up, and you see he's making this back shoulder catch. And you see, fellas, when we're in traffic and we make this catch, you see how Adams, again, great concentration. Eyes are going to the ball. He's almost like catching that thing in that like picture frame, right? You want to think of that ball, it's like in a picture frame. Now, when we're here and we got to do this kind of a catch in traffic, you see how he pulls it away and uses his body as a shield. That's the goal. Anytime we're in traffic or anytime you got to go for maybe a jump ball, back shoulder, you want to use your body to protect it. Bring that thing in close so that DB is not able to make a play. It's a great job by Adams here. Let's watch this thing again full speed. So he's running out, breaks, 1, 2, 3, pops this thing off. Make sure we accelerate out, then rip that thing away from the DB. Great job by Adams. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you guys want to gain weight for this offseason, you guys need a protein powder, 29 grams of protein per serving size, right? As you can see right here. Check out that very first link in the description. Again, much better for you than a basic whey concentrate protein because your body will absorb more of the protein. That's what whey isolate means. Your body absorbs the protein faster. There's less lactose, and then there's less fats in this type of protein. So I hope to get you guys on that soon. Again, very first link in the description. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. I'll see you guys next time.